Production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show... First, I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of Positive Talk Radio here on KKNW. And later on today at 3 o'clock, we also have a show that we do on Kixie. So Kixie 880 AM. And we'll have another great show for you there. Today, we've got a wonderful author and a speaker and a coach. And she's got a new book out that we'll be talking about. And we're working hard to figure out the modern technology, because sometimes modern technology doesn't work in the way that we would like it to. And so we are Nathan is endeavoring to make contact with her right now. But I did want to mention that Positive Talk Radio is also doing something rather unique in the podcasting / radio industry. We are on every day at 3 o'clock Pacific time on YouTube. That is video and audio. So it's Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So you can always go listen to brand new episodes there, either the episodes that are on KKNW, or we also do the podcast that is outside of KKNW, but they're always on YouTube. And we do those on a regular basis. And there's my friend Nathan. Have we solved technology?
Yes, we have. Technology is solved. No longer Y2K.
It's pretty amazing. You know what? This should be, this really should be a 3-day weekend coming up, but it's not.
No,
because of Monday. You know what Monday is?
I know we just had Labor Day.
Yeah, well, I think they should take Labor Day and they should put that together with 9/11 to give us a national holiday that we should do, because it's a national holiday for two different reasons. One is far bigger than the other. Of course, 9/11, 2001, we had the terrible tragedy at the World Trade Center. And then in 1957, my mother said, I think I'm going to have a child today. And so that was when I was born, was 9/11.
Wow.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know what to say of that. It's a little bittersweet the way you say it there.
Well, I woke up one day in 2001 and was listening to my normal radio station, and they said, we don't often do this, but you might want to turn on the TV. And so I spent the day, my whole birthday, watching the Twin Towers and everything that came down with that and stuff. So it is bittersweet. It's not, you'd like to say, yay, it's my birthday, but it's 9/11. Oh, I'm sorry, but that's life. That's what you do. We've got a great guest for you today, and we probably should invite her on and double check and make sure everything's working. So, Kate, how you doing? Katie?
I'm fantastic, and I'm very happy to be here, Kevin. Yes, it's very exciting.
Oh, we got everything working, and even I don't know how he did it, but Nathan is magical at these.
Yes, he is. He knew just what to do. I'm so happy we got it resolved. And in the midst of this Mercury retrograde, I'm not surprised that the nuances and communication stuff is happening.
So I didn't even realize we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde. No wonder we have technical problems with electronics.
Oh yeah, I've experienced a couple of this week, but it is what it is. We're here, so
we managed to make it through, and I'm glad that you're here. And this is Kate Heartsong, and she's got a couple of books out. The latest book that I'd like to talk about a little bit is Humanity's Cry for Change. I really like that. And first of all, tell us a little bit about you and your background, where'd you come from, all that kind of stuff. I know you probably weren't born on 9/11, but that's,
No, I was born on this planet, though.
well, that's good news because you kind of look like a human being.
So, yes, Kevin, a little bit about me. I am currently, I work as a life coach, and I'm also an author, as you mentioned. Just briefly, how I became an author, and I never imagined I would be, but how I became an author is about maybe 25 years ago or so. I was in deep meditation, a particularly nice deep meditation, and I was getting these loving words that came through. And I thought, wow, this is a beautiful message. And I was guided to grab a pen and paper and just start writing the words. And they were loving and guidance for me. And as time went on, I received more and more of these messages and realized that I have this gift of receiving information. And soon this information got really profound, where there's no way it would be just for me. So I ended up publishing my first book in 2010 called Deeply We Are One. And it says, in essence, really about recognizing our greatness. And through that, we can then better also appreciate others and that we're all interconnected. And then a few years later, I ended up writing another book, again, being guided with these beautiful words. And again, these are such words of wisdom for the whole planet that I knew I couldn't ignore it. And it was meant to be shared. So that's my second book, Humanity's Cry for Change. So I currently live in the Denver area, Denver, Colorado, and I am a native. I not too many natives left in Denver, and I'm just very, very happy and passionate about making a difference for people. And that's why I love your show, Kevin, Positive Talk Radio, because really it's all about being positive. Not to ignore our upsets, no, but to get back into positive. So I feel like I really I resonate. I really am in alignment with this whole concept of being positive, and that's what I try to do with my work.
I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and I wanted to point this out. Your first book came out when?
2010. Oh.
There is a ton of between when I started Positive Talk Radio in 2003, but I
Mhm.
had kind of an awakening before that, and so I started reading a lot of information, a lot of people's work. I've also conducted over 2,000 interviews in the last 20 years. And all of them are, including the first time I'd heard that phrase, "We are all one,"
Mhm.
was by Neil Donald Walsh
Oh,
in
yeah.
Conversations with God.
Mhm.
And he published that, the first one, in the late 90s, 2000s, and early 2000s. And
Yeah.
it was, for me, it was a revelation. And
Mhm.
I'm sure it was for you as well, because when
Mm.
we discover that we really are all one. We're all come from the same place, and we all come from the same creator. That we have the ability, and the responsibility to
Mhm.
treat each other with kindness and
Yes.
respect, because we are all one. Doesn't matter what we look like. Doesn't matter who we love. Any of that peripheral stuff. The deep down thing is that we are all one, and
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show.
Mm.
And it's interesting, Kate, that more and more people are having the exact experience that you had, which is you were meditating and you were thinking about it, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden a message came through for
Yeah.
you to start writing. And
Yeah.
the things that you wrote, you wouldn't have written without divine guidance, I would venture
True.
to say.
Very true. Absolutely. It really was divine guidance.
And I've got a quick story for about another author who's coming out with these books with 4 books in the fall, and she's been on the show before. She's going to be on again, and the same thing happened to her as happened to you. She was
Mm,
she was asleep. She's a orthodontist by trade, but
yeah.
she was asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she heard a male voice in her ear that said, "It's time to start writing." So according to her story, she wakes
Wow.
up,
Wow.
she looks for somebody in the room, there's nobody there. She puts her robe on and goes in the bathroom, nobody there, goes in the living room, hey, there's nobody here either. So
Mm.
she calls her therapist at 4 o'clock in the morning and says, "I think I'm getting schizoid
Oh.
because I'm hearing voices," and the therapist texts back, "Well, did you start writing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she grabbed a journal and a candle and said a little prayer and sat down and started writing from 4 to
Mhm.
5, and at 5
Mhm.
o'clock, it stopped.
Beautiful.
And the next morning, she woke up at 4, and she had a little voice this time in her head that said, "It's time to get up and start writing." And so for the next 18 months, from
Yeah.
4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning every day, she
Wow.
would write.
Like a
And now
clock.
she's yeah. And so that essentially happened to you as well.
Yes. I always knew and sensed, and I still do, the, um, the beckoning for me to, "Hey, it's time to write." And I always do this early in the morning, and the veil is thinnest in the morning, and I do my best writing in the morning. So I feel so honored to be the messenger because, it's not me. It's the creator, it's source coming through me that is using me as his or her voice. And in that regard, I feel so honored. And it is not my material, but yet I am the hands, the vehicle to spread the message. So in that way, I'm like, oh, it's such a beautiful message too. Just important messages that people need to hear. Like, how can we make a difference in our lives? And that even one person does make a difference. If we imagine 100 people or 100,000 people or millions of people doing their own personal work and just honoring themselves and healing whatever, we can then move into individually feeling better, raising our vibration. But we're also adding, as you know, Kevin, we add to the collective consciousness precisely because we are all one. And so there's just so much to be said about the knowing of this knowledge and the empowerment. That's why I'm really impassionate because I grew up, my parents always meant well, but I grew up with a traumatic childhood and I was able to transcend that with a lot of work, yes. But as a result, I am the person I am today. And that's why I know other people can make change because I'm living proof. I made the change and it's possible.
Well, I've come to believe and to know that our life is a collection of experiences,
Mhm.
some good, some not so good, but all by divine design to become the
Mhm.
people that we are today. Uh,
Yes.
so that you can be who you choose to be. And but because it takes, you know, I do positive talk radio. It doesn't mean that it's all sunshine and puppy dog tails.
Mm.
It's we all have got issues in our lives that come and they go and stuff, but we learn. And that's
Mhm.
in the process. And I would also like to say that I know that you got divine guidance, but there also was a human filter involved that was based upon your human experience that you were able to
Mhm.
add to the dialogue to make it more real. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, I totally understand what you're saying, Kevin. What happened is I actually took word for word dictation. It's almost like a knowingness, and I just wrote. Not like I'm in a trance, but in a very receptive mode of receiving the information and the guidance. And probably 90% of the book, both books, are what was written. Now, I did have it professionally edited. So, in that regard, yes, the human aspect came in. But for the most part, it's really all divine guidance and professionally edited, and then coming from 3-ring binders into the book it is now. So,
I've been so fortunate because I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people that have had the exact same experience that
yeah.
you had. But now there was something about you that caused you to act on the, guidance that you were getting. Can you share
Mhm.
with us what that was? Why because you're not by trade, you're not a writer. You didn't grow up being a writer, but you decided that you were gonna do it, um, through this. What and I'm sure a lot of people get a message and they say, "Oh, yeah, well, maybe, someday perhaps, but they're not
Mhm.
gonna do it today." What caused you to pick up that pen and paper and start
Mhm.
writing?
Very good question. What caused me to pick up that pen and paper? At the beginning, when I started hearing the words or sensing them, I'm like, is this really happening? And if I got to thinking, then I get out of that mode of meditation. But once I'm in that space and that particular meditation, I just felt a pull. And so I honored it because at that time, and of course still today, I recognize the importance of listening to that inner push, the inner guidance, that intuition. I grabbed that pen and paper and started writing. So at first, when I was done with that meditation, I'm like, the human self coming up, the ego, is this for real? Maybe I made this all up. And
Right.
I really doubted myself back then. I was far more into a place of self doubt and not as much confidence as I am today. It took me probably several weeks, maybe several months. I don't remember exactly, but it took me a while to start trusting the words. And that was a beautiful process of growth and personal development in itself to have this whole observing myself of I'm writing this, oh, these words are so beautiful. And I knew they were guidance because of the love and kindness that the words were versus ego, which is very demanding and controlling and maybe even negative. All the words I got were very, very loving and positive. So I knew it was probably my guides. And then they revealed to me after I asked, who is giving me this information? And the answer I got was, this is Archangel Michael, plus many other angels and guides that you have, and their names are not important. We just want to give you this message so that you can share this with others. And then they also gave me personal messages and personal guidance. The other thing I think that helped me to really follow this and not ignore it was knowing the importance of living in our authentic self. I realize, yes, this is a gift. I mean, every single person has this gift. I am not any more special than anyone else. Please know anyone on the planet has, all of us have the same gifts. But sometimes in our incarnation, we're not meant to hone in and use a particular gift. But for me, in this incarnation, this is one of my gifts, and the purpose is to fulfill my life purpose, and that is to be a messenger to help birth the new earth into the new age of Aquarius. So, recognizing at that time, as I still do today, the importance of honoring our gifts and to, again, listen to that intuition, Kevin. It's so important. So, that's what I did. That's what helped me to really get down this path and I've become a writer, and this is now one of my talents that I offer for the betterment of the world.
You know, it's if you're sitting in our audience today, if you're having lunch and you're sitting in your car and you're having your burger or whatever you're having, and you're saying, "Oh, now come on, intuition is that's an airy fairy thing out there that
Yeah.
I would like to point out something that I know, and that is that we all have intuition. We all have intuition hits. And one of my
Mhm.
favorite stories is the story of how the song Yesterday was written.
Mm.
Now, Yesterday was written by Paul McCartney, and he is now 80 years old, and he still does not know to this day where that song came from. He woke
Wow.
up with that song in his head. And he
Oh,
went around and showed John, and he showed George, and his producer, George Martin, and he played the song for them, and he said, "Who did this song? Somebody had to have done this song because it came to me complete, so I must have heard it from somewhere else." After about 3 weeks, they said, "Nope, never heard that song before," and so he took it for his own. Yesterday became a number 1 hit and has been, copied over 3,000 times,
wow.
and he still to this day doesn't know, and that was into and he'll tell you today, "That was an intuitive hit, don't know why, don't know where it came from, but
Absolutely.
it just did," and so it happens to all of us if we keep our mind open to it. How did
Absolutely.
you keep your mind open to it? There had to be a process.
Yes, and that is such a key point that you're making, keeping our mind open. I tend to be a person who does that anyway to keep my mind open. That's a good question. How did I keep my mind open? I would answer that by saying, I have such belief and connection with spirit or the creator. People call source by different names, God or spirit, the creator. I have such belief in the creator, and I have come to know so well over the many years how we are taken care of. We're all given challenges in life, and yet we're always provided for. And I think that has helped me to keep an open mind, to be open to, well, what is the avenue by which I can express for God so that I can be of service? How can I have, again, for me, it goes back to having trust. I will share something that I don't share with a lot of people, but I'm very comfortable sharing here with you, Kevin, and your audience.
Just the 2
I
of us listening, don't worry about a thing. Just
I'm
just just you and me.
okay, deal with you. I have in this incarnation, one of the life lessons for me is to learn about trust. I was brought up in a family where I was told not to trust and always to have self-doubt. My dear father meant well. "Always double check yourself, Katie." I was used to be called Katie. "Always double check, like when you're at the grocery store, make sure they're adding everything up right. Always make sure this, double check that." My mom gave me other messages about not trusting. So I know one of my lessons in this incarnation is to overcome my conditioning as a child to not trust. And as a result, I grew up for so many years in my life of not trusting. And that was the challenge. And I had to learn how to trust. And I never thought of it until now, Kevin, with you bringing this up. But I think you brought up a good point. What helped me to keep an open mind? And what prompted me to continue to do that writing, what I call automatic writing or channeling? And it was a lesson, a playground to practice trust. And I have since then come far, way in advance, lots of personal development where I am in a place of trust. And I am more believing that I am provided for. I trust in spirit. I trust myself. Now, of course, I still have I have healthy discretion. It's not like I trust everything all the time, but I do trust a lot more than I did before. in a much more healthy way. Like a pendulum, I used to be on one end, not trusting. I'm much more in the middle now, where have a healthy trust.
Well, if you knew me in my personal life, and if you were one of my friends, I've heard this many times before. Kevin, you're far too trusting,
Mm,
and it's because I believe in, I believe the same as you do, that we are being taken care of by our
yeah,
guides, and I believe then everything's going to be fine. And if I trust somebody and they turn out to betray that trust, that has nothing to do with me. That
mhm,
has to do with them.
true.
And so I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
If because I've done my part. It's like
Um,
as an example, if one of my big things is be kind to everybody. I say at the end of the
yeah,
show, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. And I say that because
yeah,
if I'm kind to everybody, it doesn't matter if they're kind back. That
yeah,
has nothing to do with it. It has to do with
mm,
me and
yeah,
what I'm called to do, just like you and what you're called to do. And so
yeah.
that's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. Yeah, that really is. We've got a lot to talk about the second half of the show because we're going to talk about humanity's cry for change and the book that was given to you. And I say given to you because I truly believe it was. Do you?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely, it was.
Very good. So we're talking, by the way, with Kate Heartsong, or I'll call you Katie because that's an easier. So Kate Heartsong is our guest, and we're going to talk about her book, Humanity's Cry for Change, and how we can all work to change the guck that we find ourselves in today to make it better for everyone, all of
Yeah.
us together. So you're listening to Positive Talk Radio. We'll be right back with Kate, and you're listening to KKNW. Have a great day, and we'll see you right back after these messages. Hey,
Bye.
PTR loyal listener. First, thanks for being in my dream. And second, I have a new concept in business to share with you. It's called socialpreneurship. So, what's that? Well, it's the idea that any company designates all profits beyond expenses to be awarded to a local or international charity or project which is working to achieve good in the world. KM Media is such a company. We believe that it's important for us to give back whenever possible and to make great things happen. So I hope you'll join us in creating this new business model that will positively impact all of us. In the next few weeks, we will lay out the plan and begin our fundraising efforts. So stay tuned for more details right here on Positive Talk Radio.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. anaturaldesign.com at your fingertips today.
Hey, thanks for listening to Positive Talk Radio. Did you know that we're also a media production company? Well, surprise, we are. We can create all kinds of audio, video products to fill any need. Please visit kmmedia.pro/our-store for a complete list of products and services. In addition, do you need a great voice to add to your own website or any other project? I know that we can add depth and quality to your work. I've been told more times than I can count by many professionals in the business that my voice adds to the quality of the presentation. So, let me create something for you. Please contact me at kevin@kmmedia.pro and let's create something great. And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio, everybody. My name is Kevin McDonald, and we've got a great guest for you today. Her name is Kate Heartsong, and we are talking about her book, Humanity's Cry for Change. First of all, Katie, I just felt called to call you Katie again. I'm sorry. And I want to thank you for being here. You really are a breath of fresh air, and you really are interested in helping humanity become
Mhm.
all it can be. And
Oh, thank you. It is such
humanity's
an honor to be here. Thank you.
Well, and you'll have to come back because
I would love to.
we're
Yes.
gonna do this more. So, Humanity's Cry for Change. What motivated the book? I know that it was a you know, you said something in the first half hour that I wanted to touch on again because I know that it's a thing and it's really true. It's called automatic writing. If you've never tried this at home, I really would encourage you to go
Yeah.
sit down in a nice quiet
Okay.
place. Perhaps have a little meditation, but at least have something quiet. And then what I want you to do is to clear your mind. And then as you clear your mind,
Mhm.
ask that a word comes to you. Write that word down. And then another word. And then another word. You don't have to know what you're writing. You
Yeah.
don't have to know what you've written and you certainly don't need to go, "What in the hell am I writing? I don't know." And just relax and let it flow. And you'll find some really insightful things will come out of
Mhm.
your hand. That's kind of true, isn't it?
Oh, you described it so well. The couple of key points. Just relax with it. If possible, go into that state of calm or meditation because that helps you to be more receptive. And don't, like you said, don't stop and ask, why did I write that? Don't edit. Just let it flow. Just let it flow. Just trust. And if you don't trust the process, that's okay. Continue doing it and you will start trusting the process. It will happen. Being open minded, just relax and flow. So, yeah, Kevin, you said it really well.
Well, thank you very much. So speaking of relaxing and letting it flow, you wrote a second book, which is called Humanity's Cry for Change. What is that book about, and how can that book help humanity change?
Humanity's Cry for Change is, in essence, really about explaining why there is so much upheaval and so many challenges, both globally plus individually. And it also explains that there really is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a reason why we are going through this evolutionary leap. And it also describes key concepts, really important concepts that we, again, individually and globally, it would greatly benefit us if we follow these concepts, these key concepts that, frankly, will help us to not become extinct. And there's a lot of no, really.
No, I was just going to say, I have a weird sense of humor, so I was just going to say, gee, going not extinct is a good idea, I think.
Yes, it is. We would like that. And there's every reason why we could survive. And there's also a lot of simple exercises, and they're very powerful. They're very effective in helping us to cope with all what's happening. Now, it's not, honestly, the book is not an answer for everyone, but it has a lot of key exercises and concepts that do help many people if the person is willing to, hey, take it on, read and then do the exercises and contemplate. And it's easy reading. It's just basically will help us to better navigate these times of challenge and to better understand, well, what are some key tools that we can take on to help us cope. So there's like a couple of exercises. I could give you an example if you'd like.
Please.
All right. The book is full of so many wonderful exercises. Again, simple. One of my favorites is called three daily blessings. No, I'm sorry, 3 blessings for daily living. 3 blessings for daily living. And that is our breath, life, and divine presence. So when a person sits in meditation, or they can do this in a walking meditation, and you don't have to sit, but just really focus on and pray on the whole idea of the breath. Our breath is a gift. And do the same with deep contemplation, with whatever feels right, to consider the blessing of life. Yes, we all go through challenges, and that's what life is about. We learn and grow as a result, but there is such a blessing in life. And then the third blessing is the divine presence, to meditate and just whatever feels right, going into our place of gratitude for the divine presence, for the source that is always providing for us. So that's one of the meditations in the book.
That's really beautiful because even
Mhm.
if you're walking in the forest and you're looking at the trees and you're looking at how they came to be, and it can be a very quiet meditative experience that you can understand a little bit, and interesting thoughts come to you in those times, don't they?
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Interesting thoughts can come in and they can be great insights.
They can, and they can change how you view your life, how you view the world and what's happening right now because, um I really think that you know what a pendulum is, right? It
Yeah,
goes swings back and forth. I
yeah,
really think that the pendulum has swung to one degree as far as it's going to go, and now it's going to be swinging back, and more people. You know, it's interesting, Kate. I've been doing this for a while, and I see more and more people come across with the same exact message that you have in your books because it's not coming from Kate, it's
yeah.
coming from the divine. And it's
Mhm.
because they are interested in us living our lives to the best, and they understand that we need a little push and a little help from time to time.
Absolutely. There's so many messengers out there sharing the same message. I love how you said it. It is not my it is not my message. I laugh. It's like, "Oh, listen to me. I'm the great one." No, no, no. Totally not that. That's completely ego. No, it's the divine that is working through so many, and so different people, as you know, Kevin, different people will resonate and gravitate towards certain speakers, certain authors. And so my book is for some, not everyone, but again, my passion is to share it with whoever and to recognize, yeah, this is profound information that the planet needs, those key concepts to keep us alive and stay in survival. But more than survival, thrive into the new age of Aquarius, which is, as you know, the characterized by love and respect and collaboration, kindness, peace, harmony, working together, recognizing we're all in unity. So those are key, very different than the Pisces age.
I couldn't agree more. Now, one of the things that then you mentioned to yourself is that I believe the day of the guru is dead. And what I mean by that is this is the day of the individual. And so consequently, there are many people who are writing the same book in many ways, like your books, but they are a different human being because
Mhm,
we each resonate. There are some people who resonate with a guy like Neil Donald Walsh or Gary Zukov or many others. Um, and so, but the message is the same. So if you resonate with Kate and you pick up your book because you resonate with her, and then you're getting the same message that would be getting if, with countless other authors, and it's by design that that happens that way,
yes.
so that there isn't a guru, one guy that we now worship that
Yeah,
he can get into ego and say, "Look at me, look at me, look at me."
yeah.
We don't want that. We want it to be
Exactly.
real for everyone. I think you agree with that.
Oh, so well said. And that reminds me of how important it is to follow the inner guidance, but also, I should not say but, follow the inner guidance and also be in awareness. Awareness is so key in all areas of our life. be in a place of awareness of, well, what messages are you getting? What synchronicities are you observing? Those will also guide you, because that to me is also inner guidance. So inner guidance can come from inside, but we are always on the outside receiving messages in so many different ways, as you know, whether it's through a radio show or a friend happened to say something and it really pops out. Wow. And it really resonates. And it's like so true for that person. Or we may be reading a book and something really jumps out at us. Or the sense of a feeling about something, right? Yeah.
I don't know how they do this. It's beyond my understanding, but I get messages through music. And I don't get how they do this, that I'll be thinking of something and I'll be contemplating something or worried about something, and I'll get a message in a song. And it'll be
Mhm.
like I'll just turn on the radio. I do real quick story if I can. Can I tell you?
Oh, of course. I'd love to hear it.
I was in the Safeway parking lot, and I had gone to get groceries, and I got a little extra money to put in my wallet, and I was putting my groceries away in my car. And a lady came up to me and said, "Sir, do you have anything that you can give me?
Mm.
Uh, we really, really want to buy a loaf of bread so that we can have something to eat this afternoon." And yeah, her heart touched mine. And so I pulled out my wallet, and all I had were 20s. And he said, "Well, oh, what the hell? I'll give her a 20." And so I gave her a $20 bill, and her eyes lit up, and she was so happy. She said, "Now we can have grilled cheese sandwiches." And so
Oh,
she walked away, and I get in my car, and I start my car, and there was a song, modern song playing, and the lyrics were, "Give a little bit, just
oh,
give a little bit." And so it was like I was being rewarded by that song playing, and they're saying, "Attaboy, way to go."
yeah.
You get that
Beautiful
stuff all the
story.
time.
Oh, yes. And that you're aware. You were aware of that song, how it just paired up with the recent experience with that woman. That's a beautiful story. And it opens our heart up, doesn't it?
It does. It
It's
does.
so
If
beautiful.
you understand that we are all connected, that we are all one, and that we all can work together for a great change, it changes how you view people. Rather
Yes.
than viewing people as the other and the
Mhm.
enemy, they become a trusted friend even though you don't know them. That
Exactly.
may sound Pollyannish or whatever, but
Mhm.
you really can do that. Another quick story, I was a bus driver for 12 years. Now, there are lots of people that get on a bus, and lots of them are disagreeable. Lots of them are the bottom 3% of the population, and some of them
Yeah.
have, mental illness, and a lot of them have drug addiction, and things like that, but if you treat them with commonality and with kindness,
Yes.
it changes the
It does.
entire dynamic.
Oh, it does. It totally does. It's such a powerful thing. What we put out comes back to us. And so countless times I'll be at the grocery store or a retail store, just out in public somewhere, and I do my best to stay in a high vibration. It doesn't mean I ignore the challenges in my life, but I work through them and then I bring myself back up into higher vibration. So I'm in a grocery store and you might, like I'll see someone with a sad face and I just look at them and silently I just send them lots of love and light. And it doesn't matter if they know that is from me or not, that doesn't matter. What matters is that I am vibrationally sharing that energy. And many times I've seen people kind of smile or their face is not so down. It may be a little bit up with almost a half a smile. Or I know you probably experienced like I have. I'm in a high vibration. I'm feeling great. I just feel like God's love and life and light is pouring out from me. And people around me pick up on that. Like just yesterday morning when I went to the gym, I was in such a great mood and got myself to the gym early enough because I do best if I go early in the morning. Otherwise, later in the day, I may very well not go. And so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get up, and then there's all these people who's smiling at me, and I smile back. Or maybe I initiated the smile, but there were several people in about a 5-minute time, about 4 or 5 people smiling at me, and I thought, I know it's the energy I'm feeling, and I just want to share that positive high vibe. And the phrase we all use, like, oh gosh, he's got good vibes. Oh, she's got great vibes. Well, that's because the vibration is higher, right? And
Yep.
so, yeah, I love that story you shared, and yeah, I've experienced that same thing and helping other people, and then they're just so happy and recognizing that what I put out to another is for their well-being. When I come from a place of love and kindness, which I do, and that comes back to me. But that's not the reason I do it. My nature is just to be of love and kindness and to make a positive difference. And people pick up on it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They recognize when they will look at you and they don't necessarily know why, but they
Yes.
look at you and say,
Yes.
"That's a nice person." Um,
Right.
they
Thank
they really are a caring individual.
Mhm.
There's a gal that's also been on the show. There have been so many that what
Mhm.
she did, and I think it's a really cool idea, is she um, there were little polished stones, and they were black, and she had hope written in gold
Oh,
letters on the
how
stone.
beautiful. Oh.
And so she would walk around, and when she saw somebody that was down or
Oh.
was sad or was not smiling, she would walk up to them, wouldn't say anything. She would just say,
Mm.
what she would say is, "Hi, how are you? Here's a little nugget of hope."
That is so sweet and special.
Yes, and a lot of she said only one person ever said, "Why are you giving me this?" I don't know. Most everybody else would say, "Thank you," but
Yeah.
the impact vibrationally would be huge, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
resonated out with them.
Oh
It's really
gosh.
cool.
I remember, it's probably been about 7, 8 years now. I was walking across the street, just taking a walk, and I saw a man whose head was way down, sitting at the bus stop at the bench, and this was divine guidance. I normally never go up to someone and talk to them, but it was so beautiful. I got the divine guidance to go up to him. I felt very calm, and that's another way to know that it is divine guidance. I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling peaceful, and I just said to him something like, very brief, but I was guided to share this with him. I said, "I just want you to know you really are very special." He looks at me with his eyes wide open. I could see, oh, he had to catch his breath, and then I just left. And, I know it was divinely guided for me to share that with him.
And the results of that can be so long lasting, you
Oh,
have no earthly idea. I'll give you another example. Your book, Humanity's Cry for Change. Somebody's
mm,
gonna pick that up. Somebody's
yeah,
going to read it, and it's going to impact their life in a very meaningful way. And it might be next week, next month, in 5 years. It could be at a used store in 10 years, and
yeah,
somebody picks it up and it means something to them. That's the
mm,
vibration of creating what you've done
yeah,
in the book. It's just like the show. This show will somebody will be interested in listening to this show, and it might be in a year, might be in 5 years, doesn't matter.
yeah,
We let the universe decide how and when,
exactly.
but when they do, they're going to be uplifted by
Mm.
you and your message.
Oh, I love that. It's such a great reminder of for me, it's a reminder of trust. I know I am meant to share this book. I don't know by how many people will read it, But my heart, my intention is that it does good for whoever reads it. May they receive whatever is for their highest and best good. And like you say, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's a year from now. Maybe it's next week. It's not up to me. I'm trusting how God, Source, orchestrates everything. And those people who are meant to read my book will, and those who are not, they're meant to read something else. And so going with the flow and that trust, it feels so good to be in that place of just relaxing and let it happen as it may for the well-being of all. So that's my heart.
Kate, if somebody would like to call you and feels called to talk to you about your coaching, about the books, about anything at all, how do they reach you?
Okay. They can reach me either by my email, which is Kate, Kate, Kate at joyfulradiance.com, or my website, joyfulradiance.com. My website's a little slow now, but it does work. My webmaster is working on making it go faster, but it does work. But yeah, they can reach me through my website or my email. And even just a comment or how may I assist? I would love to hear from them. And I also am offering a complimentary coach session if someone would like to have some support in gaining confidence or how to navigate. I am offering a complimentary coach session. So, just reach out to me.
And they can get that through the website.
Yes, they can contact me through my website.
Which again is joyfulradiance.com.
Mm-hmm.
It has been such a pleasure talking to you today.
Such a joy to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And some really great points that we brought up.
I think so. And it's amazing because the way I view it is that because we all have guides, we're never in this alone. We're never all by ourselves. We all have got a team of people that surround us and give us love. In your case, one was, he must be the busiest guy on the planet because Michael has been doing a lot of work. Anyway, but it's something that we all can benefit from. And our guides got together, and yours and mine, and they said, hey, you know what? We should have them get together and we could have them do a radio show. And that's
I
how
believe that. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Yes. There's no accidents, Kevin, as you well know.
No. And I've gotten to the point where if something not positive happens, that might be construed as negative or whatever, my first reaction is, okay, how can this serve me over the long term to be better?
Absolutely. Totally. Well,
We've
thank you.
just
It's been such a joy. Yeah.
Well, we've just got about 2 minutes left. And so I'm going to step aside, and I want you to tell our audience anything that you would like them to know, anything at all.
Oh, thank you. I would love to share. Please remember your brilliance. Remember the greatness of who you are. You are amazing, and it is necessary and okay to tap into the greatness of who you are. Allow your light to shine, for you are divine.
That's very, very, very good. And you are, and everybody is. And people who tend to listen to this show and like it are a little bit more open-minded than some. And I hope that more and more people will become a little bit more open-minded to the fact that we are all one.
Yes.
That's a guiding principle of mine. And so that's how I try and treat everybody. And do me a favor, would you please?
Yes.
When you all go to the grocery store this afternoon or the convenience store or whatever, and you're standing in line and the person in front of you is mean to the clerk, remember that they're just trying to do their job and trying to get through their day, and they're on their feet all day long. So just have something nice to say, even if it's just a smile. Just say, hi, how are you? And I hope your day is great and stuff. So again, Kate Heartsong has been our guest. Joyfulradiance.com is the website. Go there And I want to thank you for being here.
It is such a joy. You are so welcome, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you.
You are so welcome as well. And by the way, everybody, remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. We'll see you at 3 o'clock on Pixie.